Vibe here, host and producer of the award-winning Dr. Vibe Show, the home of Epic Conversations. I'm the host of Epic Conversations 2020, Best Podcast News Award winner, 2018 Innovation Award winner, given out by the Canadian Epic Media Association. Also, I co-host and co-produce the only online show in the world for dads and fathers that is sponsored by Dove Men Plus Care. And as always, I like to say you're blessed, highly favored, a magnet for miracles, and a solution for someone's problem. Good morning, Ryan Knight.
Good day, Dr. Vibe. For those that don't know who Ryan Knight is, I'm one of the co-founders of the Afro-Caribbean Business Network. We work with entrepreneurs of African and Caribbean heritage, really to figure out what stage their business is in, and then help them create a strategy to grow their companies exponentially. I'm an entrepreneur myself. I do run a company called Detailing Nights. So we go to people's houses or offices, clean their cars on the spot without using water, and are eco-friendly. And I'm hearing this week might be a bit of trouble weather-wise, but I totally enjoyed the vitamin D last week. I will take a couple less than 10, but how was your...
Okay. Well, before we go any further, we have some Monday morning business to do. So we have to make sure we get it done. So let's get our Monday morning repertoire on the go. This episode of the Morning Vibe is brought to you by the Macmillan Group. Providing mortgage solutions one client at a time since 1999. Buying, refinancing, or investing, call them at 905-813-4354 if you're in, especially Ontario or the GTA area, US, 904-586-5636. So that is what we're doing with the Macmillan Group, and thank you for their continuous support. For, you know what, I'm going to have to go back and see where they first started sponsoring the Monday episodes. And we just lost Ryan for a moment, so that's okay. It's been one of the, I think he's coming back, but also the Macmillan Group. Let's see if we got Ryan back.
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, we have him back. The Macmillan Group. There's their Canada number, US number. They even have a toll-free North American number, 866-883-0885. Website, the Macmillan Group Inc.com, and then raymcmillan@gmail.com for the address. So that is good. We were talking about whether you know what? I'm going to be honest there. Up until 1 minute before we were going live, I was the only person was going to be on.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going, hello? I don't mind doing something on my own. I'd rather not. But at least 1 minute before, I'm going, the co-host ain't here. The person who's been begging to be on here ain't here. So I'm going, really interesting. I don't mind hosting some by myself. That's okay. But I'm going,
after 3,000 conversations.
No,
this is it
over 4,000.
That is why I am the mere student to the master.
Oh, stop it! You're the one everyone
the
goes
grasshopper.
To.
But
No, you're all right. And
hey,
good morning to Roger Dundas, publisher and co-founder of BuyBlacks.com, Black Canada's #1 online magazine, and coming up really soon, Black Restaurant Week. It's coming. It's coming. So go to buyblacks.com, follow them on whatever platforms they are on. Black Restaurant Week has come up, and actually Roger just came back, I believe. Well, 2 weeks ago, he was actually in Halifax. Doing some restaurant touring, and it's really excited what's coming on for this one, and it's going to be bigger than ever. So doesn't matter where you are from, plug it in. I know we're actually the week of Restaurant Week. I don't remember it off the top of my alleged mind, but Roger, maybe you can put it in the comments. At least that Monday and Friday that week, we will have restaurant tours from Black Canada on. So get your foodie on. Get your foodie on.
Get your bibs and doggy bags ready.
Good morning, Tim Frey. Hope you are fine. Also, welcome. Good to have some family in on the show, on the conversation. So what's been going on with Ryan Knight? Did you enjoy our summer teas?
Yeah, yes. And the conversations with the fam I felt like we skipped spring. We just went from winter to summer. The jackets had to get put away. You know, when you start sweltering in the car, and you're like, wait, I've dressed way overdressed for the day. But no complaints. I 100% appreciate the sun rays and the vitamin D. It was great. Got out to have some walks. I got to visit the grandparents in Brampton.
Nice.
So getting to see.
Oh, you did. You got the passport stamp.
Hey, it's getting full. I got to get multiple passports. But no, it was great. And on Saturday, was able to go to a financial literacy event with the kids, with Jasmine and Christian, done by DRAPE, so the Durham Region Association of Black Entrepreneurs. Here in Durham Region, was doing an event with Ernest and Engel. I want to get that right. It's a real estate firm. It was in their office talking about, hey, credit, building credit scores, buying properties, different types of investment opportunities. Really, really great information. So thank you to Dane and Sylvan, who are part of DRAPE, for the invite.
Nice. So for those who had experience in the Toronto area, had great weather for about 5 or 6 days. This morning, you got up, you got the rude awakening, climate change in full effect.
Yes,
full effect. It's like, I guess for those in Fahrenheit, unless the temperatures dropped at least 20 degrees in basically there. So when there was a lot of rain last night too, so it just cooled everything off. So it was rather cool, but it's been good. It's been good. So the weekend was good.
Yeah. So how were the conversations this weekend?
Well, thank you for asking. But before I do that, I always like to, especially on this time, put others in front of us. We've got Fitness IQ Cam. Good morning, gentlemen and folks, who's rather busy because she does taxes this time of year. I did say great morning, Tim Frey, as always. Rogers updated that the media launch for Black Restaurant Week put on by Blacks is in Halifax, April 25th. So that is going to be very, very exciting. Conversation of the weekend. Well, of course, State of Things with Aisha, Jill, and Lala was fire on Friday night. Talking. There's so many different conversation topics that they chat about. I guess one of the ones that's really hot right now in the U.S. is, I don't know if people have read about it, but there's a documentary coming out on Hulu about Freaknik.
What was Jill and Lala saying about?
Oh, well,
are they nervous about?
No, they're not nervous. They're fine. They're fine. But it was just one of the topics they.
I wouldn't think Prince would get caught up in Freaknik, so it's all good.
No. So Fitness IQ Cam says extremely busy, but keep them coming.
Yes.
Good morning, Earl. As always. Yeah. Good morning, Latanya. Haven't heard from you in a bit. Hope you're doing well. But this is good. But yeah, they had good conversations then. And then yesterday had Leslie McEwen on. She's been on the platform in the past, but her organization has launched a portal for helping Black Canadians with mental health. And there's questions, there's courses, they're adding courses all the time, and had the MPP from Ottawa, their area in Ottawa, on talking about it, saying it was really great. So it's launched, and I'm glad you segued into that. But if you go to this website right here, it'll give you a lot of information, and also it's Black focused in regards to mental health. And maybe I'll have a chance to bring it up. You know what? Actually, I do have it here. I still have it here. So I'm going to do a little promo because it was such a great conversation. So let me just do a screen share before we get going. I know our friend is waiting in the background. I'm just going to do a quick little share this because it was a really good conversation. Did I do the right thing? I hope I pushed it. There we go. I pushed the right button. Yay. Okay. Why is it not added? There we go.
All right.
So there's the website, and ACBM is African Canadian Black Mental Health Care. So this is the website. There's resources. You can log in their courses. I'll have the Right to Heal featured courses. And this is the website. So they have a few courses. If you register, you can start taking some online courses in regards to mental health care from a Black Canadian lens. So just wanted to share that.
Black Canadian lens. Excellent. I love that.
Okay. So yeah, that went on yesterday, and then again, Aisha Jalal, they were
ACBMH.
I'll put the website address again up here. There we go. LearnACBMH.org. All right. So that's what was going on the weekend. Yeah, that was it. Yeah, I was just enjoying the weather. Got some things done outside around the yard. So that was really cool. And but that's it. All right. Anything else before we get our friend up here today?
No, I'm excited to have a conversation with one of our viewers. But
I think this is one we don't have it on that often. One of our friends down south of the 49th on, but this friend is a frequent contributor when it comes to comments on the Morning Vibe. I've been blessed to know her and her growing son over the last number of years. But today she's going to be talking about self-publishing, book publishing, and she has an upcoming workshop. She's got books. She just slams them with everything all at once. And I tried to decipher through it all, but we're going to have Serena Wills, aka Divine Wryte, is on the clock.
What a lovely introduction. How are you?
Well, I think it was unique. I don't know if it was lovely, but it was certainly unique.
Oh yeah, and you just that was like a nice streamline, like a really short rendition of everything I do. So
good morning. How are you doing?
Good. Sorry for the last minute, but I do have a child to drop off in the mornings at school.
Yes,
so
yes.
It's Monday. I don't know about you, Ryan, but Mondays are the hardest days to get him out the bed. It's like, dude, come on. So it's just come on, let's go.
They've murdered over the weekend, yes.
Yeah, I mean the weekend, and he's closer to graduation. He's counting down the weeks to graduation till he's out of elementary school. So yeah. It's like summer vacation's coming, don't worry. But yeah.
True.
Good stuff. Well, Ryan, I'm gonna make a suggestion. I'm gonna make a suggestion you log out and log back in again because your internet is a little funny.
Delayed?
Yeah, it's a little. It's better now.
It's Monday. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's Monday.
Now.
Like, it's
okay. That's better now. And also, one thing that Serena has not told you about, she's also a food truck queen.
Yes, I am the food truck queen and the Minister of Libations for Mediascope. So
yes. Yes, Mediascope.
Yeah, she calls it food truckery. So, the queen of food truckery and the minister of libations on our real food truck. We think it's real. So,
Yeah, we have it. And actually, it's one of your friends. We have a friend of Serena's on here. Terry Nicholson says, good morning, Dr. Vibe. And Ryan also, Terry says, good morning, Serena. All right. You know what? There's a lot of people on the Morning Vibe only know you by your comments.
I know.
But can you share a little bit about you?
Yes, and then well, first of all, thank you for inviting me. I don't beg. Okay, I was like, I was
right.
telling Tachi, like, no, we create our own tables. We don't beg. So thank you. I was like, oh, he's, like you always ask for small businesses. I'm like, I have two. Like, I need to be on the Morning Vibe. I'm always on the Dr. Vibe show in the evenings. So I'm on there frequently, and I'll be on there twice actually next month. But yeah, for those who don't know me, my government name is Serena Wills. You know me in the comments as Divine Wryte. Divine Wryte is my stage name. I am a poet and a spoken word artist. It is also a part of my health and wellness coaching practice named Divine Wryte Wellness. For those who don't know, you have a divine right to be optimally well. So I do have a son, as you heard. We're rushing off to school. I'm like, come on, boy, I have a 9 a.m. interview. I need to chime on by 8:45. And he didn't. He just didn't. It didn't register. He didn't care. And I am from originally Queens, New York. I live here in the DMV area now, DC, Maryland, Virginia. And yeah, I'm a self-published author. I have 3 poetry books under my belt. I have book 4 coming out this summer. I'm also published in several anthologies. I've been published since 2007. And I now teach people the process of self-publishing and how they can self-publish on a budget, because it's always the biggest, like, oh, I don't have the money. I'm like, I'm a single mother. I have a health condition. If I can do it, you can do it. And I actually have 2 workshops. Self-Publishing 101, which I have coming up this Thursday, is virtual, so anyone can attend. And I have 201, which is the follow-up to 101. We go more in depth on various topics in 201. So that's just a little bit about me, just a little.
And if you want to find out more about Divine Wryte, aka Serena, go to the Dr. Vibe Show website. We've done many a conversation, over the last few years,
conversations.
And I just want to share to another side that a lot of people may not know who are watching today. You are challenged with Lyme disease, and you're also an ovarian cancer advocate. So can you just give a little background on, the challenges you have with Lyme disease and also why you're an ovarian cancer advocate?
Sure. Thank you for bringing that up. With Lyme disease, September 2012, actually, I was bitten by a tick. Didn't know I was bitten by a tick. I thought it was just some little bug on my arm. It also it looked like my beauty mark that I have on my arm. It was right next to a black beauty mark I have on my arm. So I was like, this thing doesn't look like my beauty mark. This is a little different. I went a different route. I was a marathoner for years. I ran 5 marathons. I was training for my 6th marathon when I got bitten by the tick and didn't know I had Lyme disease. I was misdiagnosed a total of 10 times in a matter of about 2.5 months. My health was just, it was like I was imploding by the minute. Didn't know what was wrong with me. Found a wonderful integrative health doctor here. She was referred to me by a wonderful friend. And she said, yeah, I met her on Groupon. I had a Groupon coupon and you should go and check her out. She is magnificent and actually diagnosed me before I got the blood work done. She was like, I think you have Lyme disease. And by that time, I was home for a month. I was practically bedridden, single mom taking care of my child. And then December 15th, 2012, it came back that I was highly positive for Lyme disease, and also central nervous Lyme disease, because I had an MRI of my brain and that was abnormal as well. So I am a survivor. I have conquered a number of symptoms. I had about 35 plus symptoms at one point and was really not functioning and I'm forced to function because I have my child, and thank goodness for the village and friends and the family who did believe me, because some people didn't want to believe that I was so sick and they thought I was exaggerating. 14 months of IV treatments and you name it. And I still am on a certain regimen and protocols because I'm not in remission yet. I still have a few symptoms left, but I'm a whole lot better. So I'm an advocate for Lyme disease. I advocate for those who are the ones that are bedridden. They can't talk for themselves. I tell people what's out there. And unfortunately, I'm in the United States where it's a huge controversy over Lyme disease. We had a vaccine at one point and it went away. And now with COVID on the loose, it was really frightening during this pandemic. I'm at high risk, so I have been talking for years about Lyme disease and just educating people and also being an advocate. And ovarian cancer, that is also very personal. My mother had ovarian cancer. She didn't know she had ovarian cancer. She thought it was menopause because ovarian cancer mimics menopause. until she got very sick, and she was diagnosed August 2009, and we lost her February 2010. So we were supposed to be planning for a cruise and a vacation to celebrate her 60th. And I tell people I went from planning a vacation to planning a funeral. And I am her only biological child. So I was her health proxy. My grandmother, who was alive at the time, was in her 80s. She already lost 2 daughters. She just didn't have it in her. She just couldn't do it. So I really advocate and educate on ovarian cancer because it's a very silent cancer. And there's no cure for it. There's no like adequate even testing yet for ovarian cancer, which is very scary. And a lot of women who find out, about 80% of women who find out they have it, they're already in stage 3 and 4. So I'm an advocate and I educate about ovarian cancer. I was at high risk at one point until I had a surgery recently in February, so I'm no longer at risk. So we'll have to talk about that later, Dr. Vibe. But I just, there were things going on with me, you know, and I was like, I have to stay here. I have a child. I can't check out, you know. So, yeah, you know, and I know my mother's up there shining down on me, you know, but to lose her at 60 was really, I was 35 when I became her proxy and I lost her. And she actually passed away a month after my birthday. I was 34 when I became her health proxy.
Is that something where it's more preventative checks since it's difficult to detect, or what can you do?
Yeah, that's why we've had numerous conversations on the Dr. Vibe show, and that's the one thing that we fight for. You know, we like paint the capital steps teal throughout the year because teal is the color for ovarian cancer, but there's no adequate test. It's like, oh, let me go and get this checked out, or let me eat right, let me exercise, you could be in the best shape of your life and still get ovarian cancer.
Gotcha.
It's really, and you know, I tell people the one thing you can do is get a genetic test and see if you know, the BRCA1 and BRCA2 genes to see if they're mutated. If those are mutated, you are at higher risk for breast cancer and ovarian cancer. And men can also pass that gene on to their daughters. That's why I always tell men, you need to know about this too, okay? Because you carry the same BRCA1, BRCA2 genes that women carry. But you can also pass it on to your daughter or your son, and then he could pass it on to his daughter if he has a daughter. So it could really just, you know, move on. But there's no adequate testing. You could be in the best shape of your life, do everything, right? Stress reduction, you name it, and you can still get ovarian cancer.
Okay.
Wow.
Pretty frightening. It's kind of scary.
So you see why Serena's been on my platform many times, because there's so many different stories and experiences of value that she could share. And maybe we'll have her come on a Morning Vibe episode and go a little bit deeper for this audience about ovarian cancer and also Lyme disease. But today we're here about this or this.
Yes.
The writer in me. Yes.
Yeah, so let's before we go further, Fitnance IQ says hands emoji. Thank you about you. Ray says, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Serena, for bringing the awareness to Lyme disease and ovarian cancer, both ailments that affect many but get very little airtime. Yes. Thank you.
Very little.
And Christopher Lawrence, what's up, Christopher Lawrence? I actually saw Christopher Lawrence this weekend, and he did give me something. So nice. And Christopher, I have to cycle back to you on something, but there we go. Serena, where did the writing journey start with you?
You know, it's funny. So I tell people, as a child, I was definitely shy. Well, I learned a lot about myself, and I've learned that a lot of children who are shy are really empaths. I didn't know that at the time. I just wouldn't talk. In a room, I would be at my mother's hip. I would not leave her side. It was to the point where family thought I needed, like, oh, she needs a psychologist. She needs a therapist. This child is not, we know she could talk, you know, and even my teachers would say, oh, you know, she does so great, you know, in class, but she will not talk. We will call on her and she will not say a word. So it was when I got into 3rd and 4th grade, actually 3rd grade, I transferred schools, and I'm still in touch with this teacher too, my 3rd and 4th grade teacher and my principal and everything. They gave us journals to write in.
Right.
And usually your journal is supposed to last you a few months. I wrote mine, it was like within a month, mine was filled up. And they were like, okay, we have to give this child a journal every month. And my principal told my mother in a parent-teacher conference, there's nothing wrong with her. Her voice is in her writing. And she was like, you should see her stories. And my mother said, well, I always knew nothing was really wrong with my child because she talks to me. But, family and friends always think, oh, there's something wrong. And, oh, this, and she's just so quiet. There's nothing wrong with quiet children. Okay, they're really thinking maybe they can't. Like with me, there's a lot of energy in the room as a child. And if you don't know how to detect that or channel it and you're an empath, you just kind of fold in. And that was me. So I started writing as a child. I still have some of my stories I wrote. I found them on construction paper recently as I'm purging stuff. But in high school, I wrote a story. And my 11th grade teacher said, you're going to be published one day. And he said, I can't wait to see this story published. I'm like 16 years old. I'm like, man, whatever. I'm going to be an architect and make millions of dollars. That was what I thought I was going to do, right?
Yeah.
Very wrong. So, so fast forward, that story I wrote in high school, I have not published it yet, but it is now a 4-series children's story. Like I literally that's like the origin story, and I just kept building and building on it. And I'm in touch with him too. And I'm like, you were right. Like, I didn't publish that first, but I did become published eventually. And the poetry started in 1997, to be exact. It was after I graduated college. And I'll never forget, I wrote my first poem. It was an ode to my ex-boyfriend at the time. And I just didn't know. I thought it was going to be a one-off. And then everything, like all this poetry just started pouring out of me. So I've been writing poetry for over 20 years. I love writing fiction and nonfiction as well. My next book after the next book is my memoir on Lyme disease. So my journey has started really a long time ago. And then when I moved to Dallas, Texas in 2006, that's when I got really quiet, because living in the DC area in your 20s, I was clubbing in at happy hours every week and would write here and there periodically, just periodically. When I moved to Dallas, I was in a very quiet place and space. And that's when I really started to hone in on my writing. And that's when I got published in an anthology that had invited me. And then that turned into another anthology and another invite. And started meeting wonderful authors, like amazing New York Times bestselling authors who told me about their self-publishing process. And after all the denial letters I was getting, I was like, you know what, I can do the self-publishing myself, and just went for it. So yeah, it's really been a journey, to say the least. But I tell people, you can't wait for folks. I can't wait for somebody to say, oh, we like your writing, we'll publish you. No.
Right.
You wait.
Dr. Vibe was able to put up that you do have workshops on self-publishing coming up. So I'm curious, when people go through your workshops, what holds, sorry, Dr. Vibe, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, I was just gonna, no, go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan, go ahead.
I was just curious, what do you find is the trend that holds people back from getting that story out of their mind and onto paper and possibly publishing it themselves?
Yeah, there's lots of obstacles. One is finances, because I dispel the myth, because everybody's like, oh my God, I don't have like $10,000. I don't either. And it doesn't cost $10,000. Okay, so,
exactly.
But of course it does cost money, but I talked to them about working with the right people. You find the right companies. Like I have, found, I met a lot of my team in Dallas, Texas, and folks do have payment options, okay, like payment plans, okay, because they understand you may not have it all up front, and we understand, so that's an obstacle. One is just life, like, oh, I'm a mother, oh, I'm a father, oh, I'm a caregiver to my, my mother or father or a grandparent, or, oh, my work life, oh my God, I work so much, when do I have time to write? It's, you hear so much. And with me, I tell people, I published my first book in the height of my Lyme disease battle. I was actually, when I was bedridden, practically bedridden, I said, I'm just sitting here sick. I said, I'm tired of honing, like these symptoms are just wearing me out. the book was already in my laptop. It was just a matter of pulling it out. And my first thing was, I felt so sick. I was like, if I die today, I don't have a legacy for my son. So I dusted my laptop off, called my team, my editor I met in Dallas, and my friend who's an artist, and other folks, and a graphic designer. And I said, I might sound crazy. I am definitely ill. I didn't know I had Lyme disease yet. So I was like, I don't know what I have, but I do know I have to get this book published. And that was November 2012. And it was published June 2014. No marketing plan, nothing. I was like, I'm just going to birth this book and put it out there. And people were just astonished that I was able to get it done. And I said, I just took my time because I was sick. But if I'm in the IV room for hours getting IV treatment, I could be working on my book with my other hand. Like, I was really like that focused, like no more excuses, no more, So that was my obstacle. Like, there were things happening with me when I got back east from Dallas. My mom got sick. Okay. I had to do a timeout. And then I was grieving. Okay. And then, later that year I got pregnant. Okay. It was just one thing after another, but I could have still been writing while I was pregnant. I could have been writing while my child was sleeping, when he did sleep, when he was 1, but I just kept pushing it off. So there's lots of obstacles. I hear people, and then, even just the knowing process, they're like, we don't even know where to start. So they just say, if I don't know where to start, and they go to Google. And I tell people, Google is great, but Google could also be very intimidating and just give you too much. So I really break down from step 1, writing the book. Like, let's start with just you writing. Okay, so let's not even talk about publishing yet. And I really walk them through step by step, and even how to hold yourself accountable to writing the book, because that's a major obstacle, people holding themselves accountable. Yep.
Something's come to my mind now, and I don't know if people have talked to you about it. What is the impact at this time about with AI and writing or writing a book?
So I tell people, it's funny with some of my books, and I have other friends who are authors where they were doing auto text. I don't have time to type, but you can, record my voice and then it transfers into typing. So the AI, I'm an old school girl. I need to type or do auto text, because at least I know it's my voice, and I can go back and, kind of go through and clean it up. But AI, sometimes they don't detect everything you have to say, even with the auto texting. There are words I'm like, what word is this? And I have to figure out what I was saying back then. And I'm like, oh yeah. But yeah, some people are like, oh, I can do, this is going to be great. It'll save me time. I'm like, okay, but I'm an old school girl. And a lot of authors I've met are like, yeah, AI will be nice, but we want our hands to keys. And if we can't type, for example, I remember Tabitha Brown talking about her mother, because she had ALS and she couldn't type anymore. And they were recording her, recording her voice, so there are other ways that people are still managing doing this without AI. But I see that it will, a lot more people may use it, but I also see folks like me who have been published, and even folks who are not published. They're like, no, I really want to write my book. I want to type it out. Some people still do longhand. I have met authors that literally pen to pad are writing their whole book in 5 subject notebooks at a time, and then they type it. And then I still know people who are physically writing their books with pens and pencils. So it will be a game changer for sure. But I tell people, you still want to be careful, because some of your wording may get lost in that technology.
All right. Just a little break time right now. Perry Douglas, congratulations to you.
Thank you.
Adverse conditions. It goes to show that no excuses is the way. Never be a victim. And people, Amen. Perry Douglas. Perry, we need to have you on the Morning Vibe and talk about your book. He just released his book.
Congratulations.
He just released his book. He appeared on another one of my platforms, but would love to have him on the Morning Vibe family.
Awesome.
And he's been on the platform before, and people always tune in when Perry's dropping knowledge bombs.
I love it. Congratulations.
And then Butterfly Chronicles with Kimmy
Hi,
says, "Hey sis, so
my people
proud
are coming in.
you."
All right.
And let's see. Sharon Knight says, "Good morning, all. Serena, you are truly an inspiration. Listening to how you describe your health journeys is incredible. Wishing you all the best in your endeavors." And Lala Key, are you becoming a regular? You were on last Friday.
That's right. We're having a party at my house because I have the record player and the cassette deck.
That's right.
Yes. The 8 tracks. Yep. She's bringing the 8 tracks and we're gonna have a party.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. I'd go to that party.
Oh, that'd be the best party. I'm telling you.
I'd go to that party. That party would be certainly worth checking out. Just also, too, if you're watching, subscribe to the Dr. Vibe Show on YouTube. If you also subscribe on YouTube, also push the notification button, like it on Facebook. Wherever you're watching it, whatever platform, Ryan's or myself, just like it and share it and tell people about it. So let's get back. Ryan, do you have any more conversation pieces? I always do, but anything you're wanting to ask Serena?
No, I mean, being a wannabe author, I was able to work with my daughter to publish our book, Jazz and Dad Start a Lemonade Stand. So, but we worked with Creative Interlude here in Canada, and it was that kick in the pants hearing about a person that could help walk you through the process of publishing, or else it would have just stayed in the notebook and never seen the light of day. But where we found the struggle was the illustration side of it. So both of us, my daughter likes the doodle, and she actually made the initial skeleton drawings, but then transferring that to like a proper illustrator. So how do you guide people that want to illustrate the books that they write?
Yeah, and actually, like with my children's stories, I was like, okay, it's written, but what do I do? I don't know how to draw. I'm not an illustrator.
You're looking at it like, okay, what's this now?
Like, what's next now? You know, and I've been very blessed to have met illustrators along my path. So I used to work for a performing arts center. I'm not going to say their name because I'm not giving them props, but I met lots of beautiful people while I worked there, and a couple of them were illustrators. And I actually know a couple of illustrators, but some are, you know, like they are contracted, like, I would love to work on your book, but I have a deal with Simon Schuster, or, you know, I'm working on, you know, one was illustrating when Toni Morrison was alive. Like, oh, you're illustrating her book. Okay. But what they will do is they will refer you out, but there's lots of resources out there now. I know here in the States, and I'm sure they're global. I tell people go to Fiverr. And that's spelled, I think, with 2 V's.
So that's where we ended up finding
Fiverr.com. You can find anybody on there. I'm telling you. Okay. And they give you a sample, or, you know, and then there's also the Writers magazine. And even though it's a Writers magazine, they have a list of everybody. So from editing, copy editing, publishing, illustrators, you name it. Also Facebook has these groups now. You know, illustrators have their own groups on Facebook. You could chime in and look at, you know, they all love to like share their drawings and everything. And I tell folks, like, you know, go to a bookstore. Like I have lots of children's books here because of Jordan, but I used to work for Reading is Fundamental, the national organization, and I inherited a lot of books. And I'll just look in the book and see who the illustrator is and reach out to them, you know, and say, you know, and see what their website looks like. Are they working for people? Are they for hire? So there's lots of ways now. It's even easier now than it was many years ago to look for an illustrator because we have, you know, the internet and Google. But yeah, Fiverr is amazing. So yeah, you know, just websites like that where there's lots of contractors and folks who are looking to work, and they're not looking to hit you over the head with a price tag. You know, like they want to make money like you, but they're not going to say, oh, I cost like $1,000 a page. Like, you know, they're gonna, you know, do that. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you went there. That's a great resource and tool is Fiverr.
And it's amazing that we are open to the world. Like a lot of times we forget the world is an open economy that we can tap into now because of platforms like that.
Yes.
More comments. Family showing love. Long time no here in the naked property with Osai. The knowledge in the room is contagious. Keep it coming, folks. Hope you and your family, Osai, are doing fine. Perry says yes. Greetings, Lala. So it was me. That's my comment to Lala. So let's do. Perry says, Serena, you are right on AI. As a person in data science, AI cannot replace the human mind and write authentic stories.
Exactly. Yep.
Right.
Ray has a question. Congrats on your publication, Serena.
Thank
Admirable
you.
indeed. How challenging is the business of being an author from a dollar and cents and profitability perspective?
Oh, I love
going in. Ray's going in.
All right. So yeah, that's also the biggest question in my workshops is, they're like, we don't want to ask you how much you make, but can you give us an idea? And I tell them, this is a really great question as a self-published author. I was like, the beauty of being self-published is I get to order what they call author copies. So I get to get my copies wholesale from the distributor and printer. So this go around, I'm working with a company called Ingram Spark. The last 3 books I was through Kindle Direct Publishing, which is Amazon's company. The first time I published, it was Create Space, and then it turned into Kindle Direct Publishing. But when it was Create Space, that's when Amazon was more, and no shade to Amazon, but they would share the wealth. Like Barnes and Noble would carry my book, they could pull it through Amazon, or this bookstore could pull it through Amazon. Well, then Kindle Direct Publishing is like, because they're Amazon, they're now bigger now. And they're like, no, if you sell on Amazon, you stay on Amazon. So Barnes and Noble now has their own press company, and this they have their own press company. And, so I'm like, okay, now I have to go outside of Amazon. I want to, I want my books to be, able to, even though Amazon is global, this way Target can carry it, Walmart can carry it, Barnes and Noble can carry it, retailers can carry it, and it's not going through all the red tape. The money part is very interesting. So when I get author copies, I get wholesale. And for those who go to my website, serenawills.com, I have a store. So I sell my own books. I have a inventory of books in my house, and I autograph them and I mail them out. This way I get more money and I get my money faster. So if you go through like Kindle Direct Publishing, even Ingram Spark or any other platform, they too can sell your book, of course, through the retailers and of course, Kindle Direct Publishing. Amazon, of course, they're going to take their cut up front. So they take a percentage, which is bigger than what, I would like. And then you don't get your money for another month. So you get paid because they want to make sure no one's going to return the book or anything like that. So you're waiting for your money to come. So I tell people that's why it's very important. I have this in my workshop. Have your own home on the World Wide Web. Do not rely on social media. Because I used to have a little store on Facebook, and then they changed up their whole.
And say that again for the people in the back.
Yeah,
because
where my books go.
Key.
Yeah, you have to have property on the internet. It could be a simple website, but you make sure you have a store on there where folks can purchase your products. You get it out, and that again, it goes back to accountability. Don't let somebody order your book and you're still haven't signed it a month later. Okay, you need to sign the books and mail it out. And I created both of my own websites. So people go on there, who created your websites? I did. So I went on there and did my own websites, and I just went page by page until I had a full website. But yeah, you can make some good money, but you make it more so as a self-published author if you're selling your own copies. Like if I go out to a book fair, book festival, or I was vending on Saturday, I had my own copies, and people paying right on the spot. I can sign, I get my payment, and there you go. So I tell people, that, if you were published through like a regular publishing house, that's great, congratulations, but you have to wait for them to pay you. And of course, they're going to take their cut, and depending on your contract, work out the contract details too. I tell people, really work out the contracts, but they're going to take their cut first before you see your money, and you're not going to get payment right away. So there's pros and cons to everything. Yeah.
I hear you. I want to jump to the upcoming workshop, which is like this Thursday.
Thursday, yep. It's this Thursday. I can't believe it. It feels like
what's about?
Self-Publishing 101, because like I said, I have a 201 as well. And 101, I birthed it in 2019. And it was funny. I was on a committee for the Poet Laureate for the city of Alexandria here in Northern Virginia, not knowing I was on the committee with the Deputy Director of Public Libraries. And she said, I heard you're a self-published author. You're a poet. You live in the city of Alexandria. You have a child that goes to school here. You go to my libraries. If I gave you a space and place, would you produce a workshop teaching people the self-publishing steps? And I was like, sure. Okay, you give me a space and place and, let's go for it. Not knowing that would be the beginning of my partnership with the public library. You just never know who you're going to sit next to, where you're going to meet people. So I'm on a committee picking out the next poet laureate for the city of Alexandria, and I walked away with so many wonderful connections. So Self-Publishing 101 was birthed in 2019, hence the pandemic hit in 2020, and I went virtual. And that was great because now I'm getting folks coming on globally. There was one lady I'm still in touch with. She's in Europe and found me on Eventbrite. And I was like, you found my workshop on Eventbrite. Okay, this is great. So with Self-Publishing 101, like I said, I have a 201. And 101 is the foundation and fundamental steps. It's the beginning steps to get from writing your book through the finish line of having your book signing, marketing, website, etc. So I literally walk people step by step from writing the book, accountability, copywriting, which is so huge, and legally protecting your work. Because some people I was in a workshop one time and God bless this woman who's like, oh, you don't have to do that. You don't have to legally. Yes, you do need to legally protect your work. Please do not tell people that. I was like, and yes, there is what they call the poor man's method, where you just put your stuff in an envelope and you mail it to yourself and you don't open it. So that's nice. It will hold up in court to a certain extent. But I tell people, go to the Library of Congress. Yes, it's here in the United States, but it does cover a multitude of other countries and continents. And if you don't have, like if the Library of Congress is not recognized where you live, then you find a legal entity within where you live at to copyright or legally protect and stamp that book. From the date. You can even backdate it and say, okay, I created the book last year, but we talk about copywriting. And even when you do copyright through Library of Congress, it's nice because it takes some time to copyright, but they backdate it to the day you submitted it, which is really nice. And we walk all the way through the editing process. There's lots of questions about that. So we talk about editing, what that entails, the emotions that goes with that, typesetting, how to even get a book cover. How do I get a front book cover, the back cover, the spine? What do I do with that? And so I walk them all the way through until you have that book signing, whether it's virtual book signing, in person, whatever, and now you could do, virtual. I'm going to do mine virtual and in person in July. But, I walk them through step by step, like holding their hands, and I ask, of course, it's very interactive. So I answer questions all throughout the workshop. And then I have the 201. So the 201, I'll be doing that later this year. That's a follow-up from 101. Okay, now I got the book. So now what? And we talk about audiobooks and ghostwriting. And we talk about book clubs and the power of book clubs. You get in with a really good book club or two, and they love you. Oh, yeah, we want 50 copies of your book for our next meeting. Done. And then they're raving about your book to the next set of book club members, and book festivals and how to get yourself out there, even for those who are very introverted. How do you handle this? If you need help, what's the difference between Ingram Spark and KDP Publishing, and like what's the difference between all these different entities that could publish and print my book, and how much is that going to cost me? And so we talk about that. And 201, that's always the big question. How much is it going to cost me? Well, it depends on the avenue you go down. So that is 101. I've had authors come to my workshop saying they have learned tips that they didn't know before. and they're published authors. So I tell folks it's really open for anyone, whether you have a book in your mind, maybe you're thinking about a book, or maybe you already have the book out there and you're published and you're like, let me go check out what she has to say and see if I can get some more tips and tricks. And I always give all the websites I talk about, everybody who attends, they get a copy of the presentation. They're all clickable links. So you're not having to sit there and write down every website I'm saying. You go to the resource page I have, and you can click the link and go right to what I was talking about.
There you go. Like that was, I mean, stem to stern conversation piece I have for you. Yes. Ryan and I are based in Canada. We're not American. And I think we are somewhat, I think Ryan at least is happy he's not American.
You know,
I can't speak for him, but how much information is, like you mentioned, you have a lady in Europe that you're still in contact with. So is it still good for people around the world to attend? How much, because you talked about Library of Congress. We don't have that here. We have different organizations or entities that handle that. But at least the basics are the basics universal that you're sharing?
Yes, they are universal, because I've had Canadians in my workshop. So they are universal. And that's why I tell people, if the Library of Congress is not a recognized entity where you are, you have to find a legal entity that is. But that's just a basic step. Get yourself legally protected. Even if you live in the United States, you don't go through Library of Congress. Make sure you talk to an attorney or a legal entity to get your stuff protected, period. So, but yeah, it could be for anyone globally. You know, I've had, like I said, someone from Europe. I've had someone from Africa. You know, I've had Canadians. I'm like, okay, let's go worldwide workshop. You know,
yes, it is.
You know, I've had folks like, hey, it's 2:00 in the morning here. I'm talking to you from Italy. Okay, let's go Italy. You know, so
yes.
So yeah, it is. These are like, just even like I say, I start from step one, writing the book. Everybody needs to write the book. Okay, so, and two, how are you going to write the book? How are you going to hold yourself accountable to getting it done? So these are like basic steps that I talk about. And even like, you know, from the typesetting, that's everywhere worldwide. And, you know, getting your book cover done. So yeah, anyone can attend and take this workshop and walk away with what to do.
Laura says, yeah, I always tell people to put your intentions out there and you'll be surprised how people get placed in your path.
Yep.
Butterfly Chronicles with Kim says, yes, I can't wait for this workshop.
Yes.
And then, and also says, I live in America and I don't want to claim
it. I don't want to claim it.
Drama.
Oh,
drama.
Timmy. Drama. Yeah. And actually, Butterfly Thoughts, we're partnering this week. So I'm actually, of course, doing the workshop, right? So she is also a published author. So we put our heads together, and people who attend my workshop this week will be able to get a discount code to get a copy of her ebook, where she walks people through the self-publishing process as well. This is not about competition. This is about collaboration. We are authors and we want people to get published. So I will be, you know, I have her discount code in one of the slides, and people can go on there and, you know, check her out. She has journals and wonderful books as well. But yeah, she put together a step-by-step as to what it took her to get self-published. So we're partnering together so we can get more of the word out there to people.
And we have great family globally too. Tim says, yeah, Tim from Kansas, copywriting in Canada, registering a copyright for your book with the Canadian Intellectual Property Office. So those who are in Canada, that's where you go. That's where you go. Ryan, any conversation pieces?
Listen, I'm looking forward to the workshop because I need to learn a bit more about this process.
All right.
And we have our second book in us. So looking forward to learning from
wonderful.
you.
Very nice.
And it's $10 to register. You do have to register, and tell people, don't email me for the link. I don't have it. You have to register through the organization, and then they send you the Zoom link and everything like that to attend. Yep.
And also too, we have the link here on, whether you're watching live or replay, on or before the 20th in the evening. I want to ask another question.
Sure.
Serena, I don't know where you get the time, but you got another book coming.
Yes, I do. I have another book coming, and Artist Paradise Pieces of Life Volume 3 is going to make her debut this summer. This has been a labor of love. I tell people delay is not denial. I thought my book was going to come out months ago, but I'm like, it's coming out right on time when it's supposed to come out. And yes, this book, so I have the Pieces of Life series. So I have Reconstruction Pieces of Life Volume 1. I have the Awakening Pieces of Life Volume 2. And this is now Volume 3. All of my books, everybody asks, where did you buy or where did you get your covers from? The images. This is actually, all my books are original paintings from friends. You're not going to find it on iStock, Pexels.com, or anything like that. And this particular painting, this is a very special book cover. She painted this just for my book.
Right.
She was like, tell me what you want. This is my friend Ricky Johnson Atkins. She's on Instagram, Pretty Ricky Art, and Ricky spelled Riki. But yes, Artist Paradise. Where do I have the time? When you're a mom or a parent, a caregiver, and even with the battle with Lyme disease and everything like that. Like I said, I just had surgery in February. But when it's your passion and your love and your goal, you make the time. And I carve out time every week to write. And even my son, thank God he's old enough, but even when he was young, he knew, oh, mommy's writing stories again. So he knew it was like story time, so that's what he would call it. But when poetry hits me or writing hits me, I have journals everywhere. I have a journal in my car. I have a memo pad in my phone, and I just start writing, so it just hits. And I went to a writing class. Actually, it's called Writing to Wellness. We used to meet twice a month in the pandemic. I went to other writing workshops as well that would force me to make time to write. And then I went to a couple of writers' retreats, which were great. We're talking 8-hour retreats. And all you did was write. You would come back, you had a lunch break, and you would share some things. And I had one goal for one retreat was to finish Artist Paradise. And I did it. Because some poems were like halfway written. Some had like a couple of lines were missing. And I was like, I'm going from page 1 to the end. This book will be done by the time this 8 hours is done. Because it was done, but not done. And in my book as well, my books are pretty unique, where they also have artwork throughout the pages. So I have other friends who are artists, painters, photographers, sculptors, illustrators, and they have contributed their work into my book. So when you flip the pages, you're not only going to see poetry, you're going to see artwork as well. So that's why I say it's collaboration, y'all. It's not a competition. And Artist Paradise is my dedication to the arts. It's my personal dedication. I have poems in there that talk about the B-girls and B-boys to the subway stories, because I'm from New York. So lots of artists get their start, before there was a YouTube, there was the subway in New York, and they still get their start on the subway sometimes.
Yes.
And, it's, anywhere or in the street corners or anywhere globally, you just always see artists doing their thing. So it is definitely a personal dedication to the arts. You will see me, there's poems in there about all genres of the arts: sculpting, painting, dancing, singing, poetry, you name it. So yeah, it's debuting this summer. I pushed it out to the summer because my goal at first now is to get my son graduated from elementary school. So let's get that done. Okay, let's get that belt. Okay, and then I could really celebrate now and put the book out. Okay.
Okay, love it.
Good stuff. But Kimmy says this was a great opportunity for me, and I have learned collaboration over competition.
Amen.
And Ray going in again, Ray saying, as an author, is the New York Times bestseller list of Oscars of writing, and how does it impact one's writing journey?
Wow. Yeah, it is like the Oscars, of writing. And that's my goal. I have affirmations up, like I will be a New York Times bestseller. But there's also other entities as well. There's lots of other, like now, I know Essence Magazine has their lists of like published authors that they really recommend, and and like all types of websites and organizations, rewards or awards are out there now. But your New York Times best-selling is like, that's the Oscars for us. Like if you see your name anywhere on that list, you could be number 100. I made it to the New York Times bestseller list. It don't matter what number I am, okay? And it's
is it that list or Oprah's Book of the Month list?
So now Oprah's here, right? And that's another goal. Okay, I have on my affirmations like Oprah's gonna find me. Okay, I'm gonna find her. And I tell folks the way you do things. Of course, you got to write the book first. Okay, I'm gonna be a New York Times bestseller, but is the book written? Okay, so, and how are your books getting out there? So I don't know if Oprah ever got my book, but I sent it. I sent a couple of books to Chicago. I sent a couple of books to
Gail too. Gail's a good.
Yeah, I'm gonna put Gail on my list. And you never know who's going to respond to you. So really great story. I sent my books to my favorite poets. Nikki Giovanni's she's my girl. Okay, she's also my soror of Delta Sigma Theta, Sorority Incorporated. So, and I'm like, I found her address. I'm not stalking her, y'all. But she is a professor at a university. And I was like, I actually went to that university. I got a master's from there years ago. I said, I'm just going to take a, shot in the dark and send her my first book when I published it. And lo and behold, a letter was in my mailbox. And I was like, no, this is not what I think it is. And I opened up, it was a handwritten letter from Nikki Giovanni.
What?
I'm like, I'm like still choked up. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to send her the next book, right? And she does that. She will write you back. If you write to her some books, or
I have a suggestion.
Yes,
I would write Nikki and say, you know what? Thank you so much for handwriting. Can I get 12 minutes of your time to have a conversation?
Yeah, that, and I would love to. I don't think she does them, but I would love to ask her to write a foreword for one of my books.
Don't get greedy. Get the 12 minutes.
But she has all 3 of my books. She has sent me greeting cards, letters.
Get the 12-minute meeting. Just want to, express your gratitude verbally.
Yeah.
I think because someone of that stature, when they're returning a letter handwritten, I'm in.
Yeah. And I knew it was her because I have her books autographed from years ago when I first met her. Years ago, and I was like, let me put the signature up with the autograph. And sure enough, I'm like, this is her, because when I had crossed Delta, when I became a Delta, I went to one of her book signings and I said, I'm now your soror. She came from around the table and gave me a hug. And she said, soror. I mean, for her to call me soror, and Sonia Sana is the same way. She
get that meeting, please, and thank you.
I will write her with this next book. I'm like, I'll send it to her and be like,
don't even wait till the next book. Put it now. Write it now.
But I will send her a greeting card, and I also sent her postcards in the pandemic because she loves like the universe and space, and she sent me a thank you card back, and I was like, I love this. It's like she's like a pen pal,
Yeah.
It's like I was like, I wish my mother was here to see us, but. It's just when my grandmother was alive and I showed her the letters in the card, she said she was in tears. She was like, your mother used to see her in person in the 60s.
Oh my goodness.
And 70s. And you're telling me you have letters and cards from her? I'm like, she's just so humble. And that just gives you so much confidence as a writer. Like if I have Nikki Giovanni recognizing my work, and she critiqued my work, which I was like, thank you. And she will say, I can tell you're growing as a writer for the first book. So I can tell she read them because she can see
that meeting. I don't want to hear anymore. Get that meeting. I don't want to hear no more. I don't want to hear no more. Fitness IQ Cam says, sweet. Hey, elemental notes. Good morning to you, Dr. Vibe. And the honorable Ryan Knight and Hell Serena. What a way to rock your Black girl magic. Keep standing strong in your strength and your power. You're a beacon of light.
Oh, thank you.
Terry says, that's awesome. Ray going in again says, would you recommend a publicist to really promote the author's brand once the publishing is done? And what percentage of sales would they normally take?
Yeah, I would. I'm at that level, Ray. You're in my mind, Ray. I'm at that level where I just want to be the creator and the author because being self-published, the keyword is self. So you're self-marketing, you're self this, you're self that. So I have friends now who have stepped it up a few notches, and they are like they hired a PR firm, and an indie PR firm. It's not like the big conglomerate or big global marketing folks here, but folks who that is their job. Like, it's our job to get your book out there. They know how to the messaging, the marketing. I do work with the company that does she does the typesetting and the graphic design for me. She has done a marketing plan for me, but I have to execute it. Gotcha. And I'm a little tired of executing that marketing plan. Like, I just want to be the creator, go to my, book signings. And of course I do social media a lot and stuff, but someone where they will put it out there in the universe for me. That's a great question, Ray. It depends on the publicist, the percentage. And if anything, some publicists, it's just, they'll give you their rates. It's like, we will charge you this to do this or this to do this package. It's not based on books because they're separate from your books as a self-publisher. So it really depends on the person you're hiring. You look at their rates, you look at their referrals, their references, which is big for me. If you're just a one-time person, I want to see the work you've done, to put stuff out there. So yeah, you want to check their rates, see if you can afford their rates. If they have a payment plan, if it's like an invoice, like, okay, I'll work on your social media campaign, it will cost this. Or I will do your website and social media, it will cost that. So there's different packages. But I would recommend a publicist, especially for those who just don't have it in them to do the marketing. That's a lot because you're constantly marketing yourself. It's constant. But you're also trying to be a creator at the same time. It's like, I'm trying to write and I'm trying to market. I'm doing workshops, and all kinds of things. So like, I'm partnering with Creative Suitlet. I'm an artist partner through them. And it's great because they have pushed my workshop out to the world. I do it myself, but because they're hosting it, they use their platform to, put it out there, which is nice. It takes some of that work off of me. Okay. So yeah, I would recommend a publicist. That's a great question.
Laura Key says, yes, I'm the beginning. In the beginning, I think we are everything, but there does come a time when you have to hire out. That's the hard part, but worth it.
It's so worth it. Yeah. Because I'm not the typesetter for my books. Folks like, how did you make it look so pretty? I'm like, that. I don't do that. It's on a Microsoft Word document, and I pass it on to the graphic designer, and they do all of that fancy stuff, and the typesetter, and they make it look all fancy, and I get it back. I'm like, wow, I don't know the first thing about it. But that was from book one. I can't do this. I just want to write and pass it on, even down to like turning it into an ebook. Because turning it into a PDF is one thing. But if you have to do like, I'm going to do like eMob, or it's all these different, like a PDF is different ways you can have an ebook. And it gets very complex, turning that Word document into one of those. That's when you're like, oh, you talk to the typesetter, like, can you also make my book into an ebook? You have to make sure it's in your contract. Otherwise, if it's not in your contract, they don't have to do it.
That's right. Another price. Yeah.
Another price. Like, oh, I could do it for this fee. So just make sure it's already in your contract and have it already listed out, even up to like them uploading your book. So yeah, you want to make sure that's in your contract. I mean, yeah. Yep. So
wow.
I love it.
Anything else? I think we've covered from stem to stern today.
This was great. Folks can come to my website, serenawills.com, and you could check out everything on there, from events, what I'm doing, my store, where I have my books for sale. I got ebooks for those who are international. Like, hey, I'll get an ebook. I do ship to Canada. There is a Canadian rate on there now. Do not check the U.S. rate. I do ship to Canada because I got an order once. I'm like, what zip code is this? And I had
hey, we're gonna get you used to postal code.
Wait a minute. I was like, this is a different code, and I'm like, and they chose like the regular priority mail option because that's all I had was U.S. options. I'm like, I need international options because folks are coming to my website because they want the autograph. They're like, oh, we can go to Amazon and get it, but we want your autograph. I'm like, oh, well, thank you. So there's now a Canadian rate on there as well.
So the world is in zip codes. There's postal codes.
Yes. And I have to add Africa on there too. I had an order from Africa once, and I'm like, wow, my books are really like, they didn't want they said, yeah, we can go to Amazon. We found it, but we want your book from you. We want it signed. We want the personal inscription. And I'm like, okay, we could do that. So yeah, check me out. And you can follow me on any social media platform, Divine Wryte, except for Facebook. It's just Serena Wills. It's my name all together, but mainly Divine Wryte. YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, because Jordan signed me up for TikTok. My son did that to me. And I saw an email saying, oh, you have a new, I'm like, I didn't sign up for TikTok. And he's knocking on the door like, hey, Mom, I heard your friend say you check out with your book, something about a TikTok book or something. Or he was. Yeah,
we need to do a dance now.
He went on his tablet and signed me up for TikTok. So I am now on TikTok and Pinterest. Yes, on Divine Wryte. So come and find me and follow me. I'll follow you back.
Interesting.
Yes.
There's
nonstop.
One last conversation piece. When do you rest?
Oh, I have to get sleep, and that's because of my health condition. And I am not a nice person if you wake me up. So
all right,
that happened yesterday. I'm like, why am I waking up at 8:45 in the morning on a Sunday? Church is not until this time. What are you doing? And especially Saturday night, I had a late night because I was vending. So I was out vending and selling books. By the time I got to bed, it was close to 1 o'clock in the morning. So I sleep. That's the one thing. Self-care is not selfish. And I sleep. If I know I need a nap, I'm at that age where I'm like, I need to take a nap today. Like if it's just 30 minutes, 45 minutes, no more powering through stuff like I used to.
No, that's one of my go-tos. Daily I take at least a 15-minute nap. When I get in a rut, I take a shower.
Yeah, I do. That's a whole other conversation. I do detoxing foot baths. I do infrared saunas because I have a portable one. I take care of myself. So yeah, you have to factor in that time. Just how I factor in time for writing and taking care of my child. Taking care of my child is 24/7, but I got to take care of me so I can keep going and feel good, and keep going. So yeah, I do.
Right. So let's do it. Let's close it out. Butterfly Chronicle says naps are essential. Christopher Lawrence says #delegation.
Yes.
Laura says, let me just do this.
Oh, thank you.
Really wonderful information, Laura.
Very welcome.
Wonderful. We've got continued success from Christopher. Laura says, yeah, international is a whole nother beast.
Yeah. Yep.
Ray says, great insight, Serena. Thanks for sharing it all. Continued success. I may have a book or two in me. We'll definitely take part in workshops.
I need you to have a series, Ray. Okay.
Yeah.
All his knowledge. Oh my gosh.
Terry Nicholson, self-care is important.
Yes, very important.
People are on the nap thing. Yes, the power of the power nap. Yes. Fitness IQ, naps are life.
#power nap.
And Lala goes, remember when we used to fight naps as kids? Give me a 5-minute nap any day now.
That's my son. I'm not tired. I don't want to take a nap. I said, when you get to be old, you're going to be like, wow, all the times, Mom, you telling me take a nap and I didn't take one. Yep. You're going to remember it.
All right. Look, you've hit on a lot of people. A detox foot bath. I should consider those.
Yes. Game changer.
Vanessa Germont. Go,
Hi,
Serena.
Auntie V.
And #power naps for Christopher Lawrence. Oh, look at it still coming in. Oh my gosh. Congratulations on your success. Very proud of you, Terry. All right. We're kicking you out because you'll keep us on all day. I'll be going to respond to you. There's the information there. Serena's website, all those things. Go to the website, it'll take it everywhere. There's the link for Self-Publishing 101 coming up this Thursday.
At 7 p.m. EST. I'll see y'all there virtually.
Take care. And also, if you want to find out more about her, go to the Dr. Vibe Show, put in Serena Wills, myriads of conversations.
Yes. Yes, thank you all again for inviting me. I appreciate it. For allowing me on the platform because I asked.
And you forgot to do one thing today. You didn't address Ryan properly.
Oh my goodness. Yes. I should have said good morning, Dr. Vibe and the Gala King. Yes.
Right.
You know what Tachi started that. We're gonna get you a crown and and like a robe, and all of that. We're gonna get one.
That's how I'll show up to the event too. I'll show up.
That would be hilarious.
A purple robe for royalty and the crown.
Hilarious.
The jewels around the neck. Go for it.
That would be hilarious.
Oh no!
All right, we're gonna let you go, Serena. Go get that crown ready. Take care.
All right, bye, y'all.
All right.
Right. You're waiting for it. You're like, hey, this is gonna happen.
And Serena and Tachi could pull that off. Okay? Just be careful.
Believe it. I believe
just
it.
Be careful because they may just show it to you on a screen and say, "What's your address, Ryan?" I say,
right.
"I can give it to you."
Yes.
Oh my gosh! So let's finish it. The crown and the Fitness IQ Camp, great conversation. Terry says, "Great show." Fitness says she's laughing with us in the Gala King. You see, hashtag Gala King. Terry's laughing. Vanessa says, "Fantastic live." Yes, Terry. Have a great day, everyone. Family, thank you for making this another epic conversation. And man, the laughter at the end, oh my goodness. That was
no, I love it. I love
crown and the cape. Oh gosh. Woo. Oh boy, that was good. The crown. Oh my goodness. DWL, I don't know what that is. You got to tell me. And then Butterfly Chronicles is laughing too. So see, it's become an international thing now. The Gala King. We need to trademark that. Gala King. Here comes the Gala King.
Journey of that'll be the next book.
Oh, that Christopher says, "Dead with laugh." DWL.
Okay.
What's up for the rest of the week, Ryan?
Yeah, like you said, tax season is here. Got to get this last documents in and get it done. So
is it the same deadline in Canada for business filing as it is for personal? I don't think so.
No. Yeah, I think business is by June, like end of May.
Yes.
And then personal's April.
Right.
Personal, I think, is already
end of this month. And
this month.
And if I'm not mistaken, the CRA workers are threatening to strike.
But they said deadlines ain't gonna change. So, but they probably won't have time to chase you for money if they go on strike.
They'll find a way.
Right.
They'll find a way. Actually,
AI. Yes.
Okay. So of course, Finance IQ comes in hard. No, it's not the same for businesses. It's June 15th.
Right.
All right. So before we close out, subscribe to the Dr. Vryte Show on YouTube and like on Facebook or wherever you're watching, whether it's Ryan's platform, ACBN's platform, Dr. Vryte's platform. Do it. Let's see. Anything else we have to do? You see where you can watch the show on the bottom. If you want to contact me, website, email, YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Instagram. All right. So this Friday, Ray McMillan is back.
Yes, sir.
And it's actually interesting because while we're on, I got an email from Perry Douglas. He said he wanted to come on this Friday. Perry can't do it because Ray has every third Friday of each month. He's here. So Perry, think either Monday or Friday of next week. Would love to have you back because we know we're going to have fun with you and you're going to drop knowledge bombs.
Awesome.
Have a great week, everybody.
Same.
And Fitness IQ goes, but if you owe, you still owe on May 1st. Yes. Actually, I just got an idea. So we'll discuss it in the offline. So as always, everyone, live your life as a dream. If you can dream it, you can make it. Sometimes you have to get small to get stronger. Block assumptions and aim bigger, aim better, aim higher, aim wider. Love, faith, and respect. Remember to give yourselves grace and don't just manage your time, manage your energy and take a foot bath. Bye.